Hello students, today we will begin with the new session, the acid, bases and salt, the second reaction. Okay, in the last session we discussed the first reaction, that is the reaction of metals with acids. Okay, so what do you get in that reaction? Metal plus acid or base will give you salt plus hydrogen. Okay, so today we will see the second reaction, that is the reaction of metal carbonate. Okay, metal carbonate or bicarbonate. Metal carbonate or bicarbonate. What do you mean by bicarbonate? Bicarbonate is also called as hydrogen carbonate. Okay, so metal carbonate or bicarbonate on reaction with acid. This is the second reaction. What will happen if metal carbonate or bicarbonate react with the acid? Okay, so you will get the generic equation is salt plus carbon dioxide plus water. This is the generic equation. So when metal carbonate or bicarbonate react with acid, you will get salt plus carbon dioxide plus water. Okay. You have an activity in your book showing this reaction. Okay, we will go for that. Okay. Now you have a test tube. Okay, that is clamped on a stand. Okay, you have a test tube clamped on a stand. Now, then I am giving the experimental part, right? Now what happens is, you put some sodium carbonate. What is it? Sodium carbonate, Na2CO3. You put some sodium carbonate in this test tube, and then you add through this funnel dilute H2HCl or H2SO4. Okay, whichever acid you can pour. That is, first you take sodium carbonate, then you add dilute sulfuric acid or HCl, whatever it may be. You do this thistle funnel. We call it as thistle funnel. Okay. Then what happens? Then here you put a tube. You know what type of tube? This is called as a delivery tube. Okay. Now what happens? You take one test tube. Listen carefully. You take one test tube which is filled with the lime water. So this is the experimental part. What you have taken? You take a test tube. Okay. Then you put some sodium carbonate crystals in it. Then through this thistle funnel you add some dilute sulfuric acid or HCl, hydrochloric acid, into it. Then connect this delivery tube with a test tube having lime water into it. Okay, you hold this. Okay. You hold this with a lime hand, and here lime water is there. Now what is this lime water? Lime water is nothing but aqueous calcium hydroxide. What is lime water? Aqueous calcium hydroxide. Okay. Now this is the experimental part. Now what is the observation here? Observation is, on adding this dilute HCl or hydrochloric acid into it, you see, either you can take a metal carbonate or a bicarbonate. Bicarbonate, this sodium carbonate, how will you write for bicarbonate? You will write it as NaHCO3, that is sodium bicarbonate. Okay, so either you put sodium carbonate or you put bicarbonate, and on adding an acid like HCl or H2SO4, what you will get? You will get salt plus carbon dioxide plus water. Now what happens is, the observation is, here gas is coming up. It is carbon dioxide gas is coming up, and it will go through it, and finally it reaches where? It reaches this test tube having lime water. Now what is lime water? Aqueous calcium hydroxide. Now what is observation here? This lime water turns milky. What is it? That is the first observation. I will write it. The first observation is what? First observation is lime water water, you have to write like this, okay, not H2O, I simply wrote like this, lime water turns milky. Okay, now the question arises, why this lime water turns milky? Now what is lime water? Aqueous calcium hydroxide. Now why this lime water turns milky? Why? Because this calcium, this carbon dioxide, because carbon dioxide is evolved and it goes through this delivery tube and comes in contact with the lime water, isn't it? Okay. Now this carbon dioxide reacts with lime water, isn't it? Then you get a milky color. Okay. This milky color is due to the formation of a precipitate. Do you remember what is a precipitate? In the first session, in the first chapter, you have studied in double displacement reaction. What is a precipitate? A precipitate is nothing but an insoluble substance, isn't it? So here you are getting a precipitate. Now what is that precipitate? I will write here. Okay, I will write for the sodium carbonate, that is Na2CO3 plus acid. Which acid? You can take, for example, sulfuric acid. Okay, no problem. Sulfuric acid. You will get this salt as what? Salt as what salt? Sodium sulfate. Na2SO4 plus carbon dioxide plus water. Got it? Okay. Now, the observation was lime water turns milky. So, what I told you? I told you that precipitate happens, isn't it? Now, how the precipitate happens? See, the carbon dioxide is evolved here. It reacts with calcium hydroxide. What is calcium hydroxide? Lime water. I will say aqueous. See, aqueous. This is gas. Okay. So this carbon dioxide, the evolved carbon dioxide react with the lime water or calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide is lime water. Now what is quicklime? Calcium oxide. Correct. Okay. Now what will happen? It will form calcium carbonate. See, I will put a downward arrow. What is a downward arrow depicts? It depicts this is a precipitate. That means it is an insoluble substance, isn't it? This is an insoluble substance along with water. So that is the precipitate. That is why the lime water turns milky. That is the first observation. Okay, that is lime water turns milky. You got it? Clear? Okay. Now what happens is, now on passing carbon dioxide for a longer time. Okay. Now we are doing this experiment and the carbon dioxide is getting into this lime water. Correct. Now on passing the carbon dioxide for a longer time or for a longer duration, what happens is, that is the second observation. What happens? This solution becomes clear. This solution becomes clear. That means what? The precipitate is not seen. Now where this precipitate has gone? That is, now on passing carbon dioxide in excess, that's the point. If you are allowing to pass the carbon dioxide for more time into this lime water, what happens is that precipitate is due to what? Calcium carbonate. You call it as limestone. Okay. So due to the precipitate of calcium carbonate, that milky color is formed. Now on passing more carbon dioxide into that, what happens is, this insoluble carbonate will form what? Bicarbonate. Listen very carefully. This calcium carbonate, which is insoluble, on passing excess carbon dioxide will form a soluble thing. Soluble thing. So how can I write that? Listen. How can I write that? See, that is, I have now what? I have calcium carbonate plus water. Isn't it? What I have? Calcium carbonate plus water. So calcium carbonate plus water I am having it, and into this what is happening? Excess carbon dioxide is passing into it. See, calcium carbonate plus water plus carbon dioxide. See, gas, solid, and this is liquid. Correct. What happens? It forms a substance which is called as calcium bicarbonate. See, calcium carbonate is forming into calcium bicarbonate, which is what? Which is soluble in water. That is very important. Soluble in water. See, that is why we are getting a colorless solution. The precipitate is vanished. Okay, and a colorless solution is obtained. Why the colorless solution? Why the colorless solution? Because colorless solution is due to the formation of calcium bicarbonate. So, this is the experiment. So, what you have to do? You have to write in your science notebook this activity in 3 forms. What is it? First is the experimental part. Second is the observation part. There are 2 observation parts. One is the formation of calcium carbonate, that is precipitate, and second is the formation of soluble calcium bicarbonate. Okay, so then the inference or the result. Result is what? Result is our reaction itself. What is our reaction? The reaction is any carbonate or bicarbonate react with an acid. What you will get? You will get the corresponding salt plus water plus carbon dioxide. That's it. Okay. Clear? Okay. Now, I will write the equation once more of having both carbonate as well as bicarbonate. Carbonate, for example, Na2CO3 plus acid. Acid is, for example, HCl. You will get what? NaCl plus carbon dioxide plus water. See? Right? Am I right? Na2. So, 2 NaCl, then H2, 2 Cl, carbon dioxide. So, this is the balanced equation for a carbonate. Correct? Okay. Now, what I will say, what I can write? A bicarbonate, the same bicarbonate. For example, sodium bicarbonate. Again, the same acid if you want to write. Then you will get sodium chloride plus carbon dioxide plus water. See? See the reaction? Sodium bicarbonate plus HCl. That is bicarbonate plus an acid will give you the corresponding salt plus carbon dioxide plus water. So what is the generic equation? When a metal carbonate or a bicarbonate is treated with an acid, you will get the corresponding salt plus carbon dioxide plus water. Clear? Now one question is, how will you know whether the gas is carbon dioxide? Or give 2 tests to distinguish whether the given the given gas is carbon dioxide. How will you test for carbon dioxide? First is by turning the lime water milky. Correct? That is the first test. Chemical test. Okay. Chemical test, first test is turning the lime water milky. Now what is the second test? Second test is, how can you test for a carbon dioxide? How can you test for hydrogen in the last session? How can you test for a hydrogen gas? Yes, it will bring a pop sound, isn't it? It will bring a pop sound. Likewise, when a burning splinter or a burning candle is kept near a carbon dioxide gas or shown near a test tube which is evolving the carbon dioxide, what will happen? What will happen? The flame will distinguish, isn't it? Why? Because it is a non-supporter of combustion. So, these are the 2 tests. Okay, so split down in your notebook. 2 tests, 2 chemical tests to distinguish whether the gas evolved is carbon dioxide. Correct? Okay. This is clear? Okay. Now, the next reaction is, now as told, calcium carbonate is called as limestone. Okay. Now, what are the other forms of limestone you see in your daily life? That is marble. Okay. You know what is marble? Okay. Now, you know what is chalk? I am having not chalk, only this pen. So, in the blackboard you have to write the chalk, no? So, that is also a thing of what? Calcium carbonate. Okay. Limestone. Okay. We will call it as limestone. So, marble, chalk or calcium carbonate, limestone. Limestone, all are calcium carbonate, other names of calcium carbonate. Okay, so this is about the second reaction, that is carbonate or metal carbonate react with acids to form what? Acids to form salt plus water plus carbon dioxide. Okay, Now going to the third reaction, that is, the third reaction is a very important reaction. The third reaction is the reaction with acid and base. The reaction between acid and base. Now what is the reaction? Generic reaction with acid and base. An acid reacts with a base to form what? Salt and water. Okay. An acid reacts with a base to form salt and water. Now for example, an acid, if you take HCl plus a base, for example NaOH, will give you, what will be the salt? Water is HOH. Okay. Now water you got. Now what is the remaining one? That is Na and Cl. So salt is NaCl. So this is the equation for which an acid reacts with a base. Okay. And this reaction has got a particular name, and that is called as a neutralization reaction. Neutralization reaction. So what is the reaction called? Neutralization reaction. So what is a neutralization reaction? A reaction between an acid and a base. So when acid reacts with base or combines with base, you will get the salt plus water. That is, both are getting neutralized. Okay, acid. So that I will give you one activity or one activity for this. That is, or a small experiment for this. That is, you take one test tube, correct? You take one test tube and you add a base, for example NaOH, correct? You add one base NaOH. You know NaOH pellets when dissolved in water, you will get NaOH, which is colorless. I will say colorless. Okay, colorless. Now what you should do is, you add phenolphthalein. You know, it's a synthetic indicator. In the first session we talked about synthetic indicator, that is phenolphthalein. Okay, phenolphthalein. Okay. Now if I drop, or if I put 2 drops of phenolphthalein, 2 drops or 3 drops phenolphthalein into it, this was colorless. Now what will be the color change when phenolphthalein is added into it? This is a base. So what is the color change of phenolphthalein in a base? It will become pink in color. You are remembering that? That is, phenolphthalein will have colorless in acidic medium, whereas pink in alkaline medium. Correct? Now you know this is an alkaline medium. Correct? Because it shows color, pink color. The phenolphthalein shows pink color in NaOH. So now you know this is an alkaline solution. Now what you should do is, you should add, now this has what? Pink color, correct? Pink color. Now if you add dilute HCl into this solution, listen carefully. First what happened? You took NaOH and you dropped you put 2 drops of phenolphthalein into it, a synthetic indicator, which shows a pink color in alkaline medium. Now this solution is alkaline, that is a basic solution. Now what happens? If you drop some dilute hydrochloric acid, which is an acid, what will happen? Again this changes to colorless. See? That means this acid is getting neutralized by the base and the base is getting neutralized by the acid. That is vice versa. Okay, that is why we say an acid into base or react with base will give salt and water, which is called as a neutralization reaction. Clear? Understood? So what are the 3 reactions we studied? First reaction is the reaction with acid with metals. You will get hydrogen. Then second reaction, metal carbonate or bicarbonate with acid, giving the salt, corresponding salt plus carbon dioxide plus water. And what is the third reaction? Neutralization reaction. Now what is the reaction? When acid combines with base, it forms salt and water. Okay, is it clear? Okay, now moving on to the fourth reaction, that is the reaction of metallic oxide with acids. What is it? Reaction of metallic oxides with acids. Okay. Now what do you mean by metallic oxides? What is metallic oxide? Can you give an example of a metallic oxide? What is it? So the fourth reaction is the reaction of metallic oxides. Okay, the reaction of metallic oxides with acids. Okay. Now, if we talk about metallic oxide, what is a metallic oxide? That means metals combines with oxygen to form the corresponding oxides. That is called as metallic oxides. Non-metallic oxide means when any non-metal combines with oxygen to give the corresponding oxide, that you call it as a non-metallic oxide. Okay. Now give an example for a metallic oxide. For example, copper. Okay. Copper is a metal. Correct. Copper when combines with oxygen to form what? What? Cupric oxide. Isn't it? Here what is the valency of copper here? 2. I told you if nothing is given you have to take it as 2. Okay, so this is C. So I can say Cu plus O2 will give you CuO. Correct? So this is metallic oxide. Clear? Magnesium oxide. How magnesium oxide is formed? You know all this. Magnesium plus oxygen will give you magnesium oxide. See? So this is called as metallic oxides. Okay. Now we will see an activity based on this of what happens when metallic oxides react with the acids. Okay. Now, for example, you take some cupric oxide, that is copper oxide. You simply say it as copper oxide. Copper oxide means the valency is 2, copper 2 oxide. Correct? Okay. So, you take some copper oxide and you know what is the color of copper oxide? We have studied in redox reaction. We heat the copper and then what you form? A black color substance is formed which is called as the copper oxide. You take a crucible, you add some copper powder, you heat it, you got a blackish substance which is called as a copper oxide. Okay, so now the color is black. So you take some powder, black powder of what? Copper oxide. So when you take copper oxide, okay, that is a metallic oxide, then you react it with dilute hydrochloric acid or any acid, sulfuric acid. No problem. Okay. Now, what will happen? You know this is a black color. Okay. In a test tube, if you put copper oxide and you pour some hydrochloric acid into it, what will happen? The corresponding salt. Okay. What is the corresponding salt? CuCl2. Okay. That is cupric chloride. Valency is 2. See, minus 1 plus 2. Minus 2 plus 2. 0. Okay. Plus 2 and water. See. This is black color and the observation is this is what? This forms a bluish green color. See, this is a bluish green color. Actually, this is an insoluble substance, right? The copper oxide, it is insoluble. Okay, it's a solid substance. It gets dissolved into, it's not insoluble, it's a solid substance. This substance getting dissolved into this acid. See, and forming a salt. Correct? Now what this equation states or what this reaction states? Anything in common with the neutralization reaction? Just look at it. In this reaction, we said this is black in color. Okay, this is a metallic oxide. Correct? This is a metallic oxide. Correct? Here I will write. This is a metallic oxide. Okay. Now what happens? This metallic oxide react with an acid. So I am writing metallic oxide plus acid. Correct? Metallic oxide plus acid will give you, this is what? This is a salt, cupric chloride. So I can write salt plus water. So is there any analogy with the neutralization reaction? Let me write. What is neutralization reaction? Neutralization reaction is base plus acid. Since here acid, just to have an analogy for that, I am writing below acid. Okay, base plus acid will give you salt plus water. See, what is the analogy here? This is acid, well, that is also acid. Here see, what is this metallic oxide? Metallic oxide just act as a, not act, it refers to a base. Isn't it? That means, from this reaction, we can say that metallic oxides are basic in nature. Listen carefully. In this reaction, where metallic oxides plus acids giving salt and water, since it is in analogy means same, comparison, same. Okay, since it is in analogy with the neutralization reaction where base plus acids give salt and water, we can say metallic oxides are basic in nature. Question can come for the board exam like this. Metallic oxides are basic in nature, account for it or give reason for it. What will you do? You have to write the basic equation here or generalized equation here. That is metallic oxide plus acid giving salt and water. Then you have to write in analogy to base plus acid giving salt and water. That is neutralization reaction. Or in analogy with the neutralization reaction. Then you write this equation. Then you complement it. That means the metallic oxide is having a basic in nature or metallic oxides are basic in nature. That is the reason or this is how you account for the statement. Clear? Now this is about the fourth reaction, that is metallic oxides with acids. Clear? No doubt? Now we will move on to the next reaction, that is what? Non-metallic oxides with bases. What is it? Non-metallic, the reaction of non-metallic oxides with the bases. Okay. Non-metallic, that's the last reaction in this reaction type. Okay. So we will see the fifth reaction is the reaction of non-metallic oxides. Non-metallic oxides with the acids. Okay. The same thing we have done in metallic oxides with acids, the same thing we have to repeat once again. The difference is, there it was metallic oxides, but here it is what? Non-metallic oxides. Okay, what is non-metallic oxides? Give an example. Non-metallic oxides. Non-metallic oxides are also called as acidic oxides. Okay, for example, sulfur plus oxygen giving sulfur dioxide, non-metallic oxides. Correct. Carbon plus oxygen giving carbon dioxide. Okay, carbon monoxide is a neutral oxide. Okay, neutral oxide. NO, you know, right? Acidic oxides, there are three types of oxides. Acidic oxides, basic oxides as well as neutral oxides. Neutral oxides are carbon monoxide, NO, NO2 in some way, sorry, CO2 in some way. So, these are the examples of neutral oxides like CO, NO, etc. are examples of neutral oxides. Okay. So, here SO2, for example, if you take SO2, we will say non-metallic oxide, correct? Non-metallic oxides, okay, non-metallic oxides react with the base. Sorry, this is acids, no, this is base. So, non-metallic oxides react with the base to form what? To form the corresponding salt plus water. See? Non-metallic oxides react with the base to form salt and water. The same thing what we have said in the metallic in analogy with what? In analogy with the neutralization reaction, that is acid plus base giving salt and water. See? In analogy with the reaction, the neutralization reactions of acid plus bases giving salt and water, we can say non-metallic oxides are what? Acidic in nature. Clear? So, you can have two questions. Metallic oxides are basic in nature, account for it. Then non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature, account for it. So, this is the two reactions. The two analogies. Okay. So, this is about the reaction of acids and bases with this. First is 5 reactions we studied. The first reaction was the reaction of metals with acids and base. Second reaction is the reaction of metal carbonates or bicarbonates with acids. Third reaction is acid plus base, neutralization reaction. Fourth reaction is metallic oxides with acids, and the fifth reaction is non-metallic oxides with bases. Got it? It's clear? No doubt? Next we will pass on to the real thing. actually what is acid and bases. Okay. Next we will see that. So this is clear. Hope you are clear with it. Okay. Now we will see actually what is acid as well as bases, or what is common in acid as well as bases. The first session itself I have told you there are so many definitions for acids as well as bases. For so many scientists have derived so many expressions, defined so many expressions for acid and bases. Laurie-Bronsted concept, Posel concept, Arrhenius concept of acid bases, like so many. Okay. But here we are simply dealing with a simple theory. Okay. Now what has acids and bases in common? What is it? What does the acids and bases have in common? Okay. For that, we will see some of the acids. Okay. Some of the acids. For example, HCl, correct? Is an acid. HNO3, mineral acid. H2SO4, correct? Okay. Then, again one more acid. CH3COOH. I said acetic acid or vinegar. Okay. Then I say formic acid, HCOOH. Okay. Again, if you want an acid, formic acid, acetic acid. Okay. Okay. Now, okay. Then you will have glucose. Glucose means what? C6H12O6. Okay. So, acid means here all have what? Hydrogen atoms. See? In all these substances, there are hydrogen atoms. Okay. So, we will say, or we will do an experiment for this. Okay. So, we have all these substances like HCl, then H2SO4, then glucose, then acetic acid, etc. Okay, all these things we have, and we will do an experiment to know what is common in an acid. Okay, for that we will say, we will do an experiment like, you have a beaker. Okay, you have a beaker. Then, in that beaker, listen, in that beaker, you have one cork. You know cork, right? Cork, rubber cork. And you put nail into it, fix two nails into it, and you connect it with a battery. Okay. You connect it with a battery, a 6-volt battery or something. Okay, you connect it with a 6-volt battery, and along with there is attach a bulb to it and a switch. Okay. So this is the apparatus, experimental apparatus. What is it? You are having a beaker, you are having a cork, rubber cork into it, then fix two iron nails. Okay, fix two iron nails into it. Then from this nail you put a circuit having a 6-volt battery, then a bulb and a switch. Now what you have to do? You pour, you have acids, no? H2SO4, then HCl, then glucose. Okay, some substances we will see one by one. Now first you add some HCl, and I take dilute HCl. Okay, dilute, it's very important. Dilute HCl into this beaker. Now you on the switch. How you on the switch? You will study electricity. On the switch by putting like this. This is open and this is a closed circuit. You close the circuit or close the switch. Now what happens? What is observation here? You have taken dilute HCl here. Correct? Dilute HCl here. That's an acid. Okay. Then, now on closing this circuit, you can see the bulb begins to glow. See? The bulb begins to glow. Now what is the reason behind this? Why this bulb begins to glow? Which means the current is passing through it. Isn't it? A current is passing through it. Now if the electrons are passing, you know in electricity you have studied negative to positive, the current is from positive to negative. Okay, so a current is flowing through it, and that is why the bulb is glowing. Now you know, in a solution, who are the carriers of the current? That is very, very important. I have told you many times, who are the carriers of current in a solution? Ions are responsible for carrying the current in solution. Correct? Or while in a metallic conductor, who is responsible for carrying the current? Electrons are responsible for the carrying the current in a metallic conductor or electronic conductor, whereas in solutions, ions are responsible for conducting the current. So which means that here some ions are responsible for conducting the current. So what is that ions? That is the question. Okay, now since the bulb is glowing, you know there are some ions, which means here it is HCl, correct? So what will be the ion? It will be an H positive ion, correct? Okay. Now second experiment is the same experiment is repeated by using H2SO4, dilute H2SO4. Dilute means containing water, aqueous. Okay, again the bulb glows. Now what is the inference? In this case also the current is passing and ions are responsible for it, and what is the ion? H plus ions. So we are coming into that conclusion. What is it? H plus ions. But when you took the glucose in this beaker, glucose, that is C6H12O6, glucose in this beaker, and you switch the current, you close the switch, circuit is closed, then you find, what you find? You found this bulb is not glowing. This bulb is not glowing. So what is the inference from that? That means the current is not passing into this circuit. The current is not passing into the circuit means there are no ions in this solution. Isn't it? There are no ions to carry the current in this solution. So that is why the bulb is not glowing. Which means that, what is the conclusion? What is the moral of the story? What is it? That means it furnishes the H plus ions in solution. That is a valid point. Very, very important. H plus ions, this HCl and H2SO4 furnish what ions? H plus ions in solution. But even though this glucose, C6H12O6, there is also hydrogen, but it cannot furnish H plus ions in solution. So that's a funda. That means if only H plus ions are there, then the current can come, the bulb will glow. Which means that you can redefine the definition of an acid. What is? It doesn't mean that an acid contains H plus ions. No, it must contain a replaceable hydrogen atom. That's it. That is a more valid definition. An acid means it must contain a replaceable hydrogen ion in solution. That's very, very important. In solution. Whereas glucose, there is no replaceable hydrogen ion. Hence what? So which means that acids contains what? H plus ions. That is the answer. Okay, so that is a valid point. That means acids contains what? H plus ion. It is when we call a substance acid, anything which can furnish hydrogen ions in solution is called as an acid. Understood? In the same way, how can you say base which furnishes OH minus ion in solution is called as a base. So if you do the experiment with the KOH or NaOH, what will happen? The bulb will glow, isn't it? Which means that the OH minus ion is furnished in solution. So OH minus ions are the carriers of current. So that is how the bulb glows. So understood? Is it clear? So whenever we say a substance is an acid, it must contain H plus ions or it can furnish H plus ions in solution, whereas a base, generally we are speaking, a base can furnish OH minus ion in solution. Correct? So you have to write down the activity which is given in your text with the three parts: experimental part, observation part and the inference part. Clear? Hope you understood. Okay, so that's it for now. So keep studying, read the book thoroughly and read the textbook. Thank you.